Hello and welcome to the May 2026 Stamp Your Stash video. Our theme this month is Father's Day and Outdoor Adventures. If you missed the announcement about Stamp Your Stash, I'm going to link that at the end of the video so that you can see my introduction and get all the information involved in Stamp Your Stash. We always work 1 month ahead so that we're getting our cards ready for the following month. So for May, we're getting ready for June. So again, the themes this month, Father's Day and Outdoor Adventures, and some sub-themes for that. Think about anything, for the men in your life, things like fishing, hunting, hiking, golfing, card games, motorsports, vehicles. And then of course for June, we always have to remember weddings. It's a really common month for weddings. So I'm going to show you which stamp sets I pulled from my stash and the cards that I made. Stick around and we'll get started. The first stamp set that I pulled from my stash was Warmest Heart. I did use this earlier this year for a card, but I thought this really goes along with that outdoor adventures. It's a little thermos that you can make a couple different ways. There's a ton of different die cuts that go along with this set. So I made just a little square card, a little thank you card, a couple thermoses, and used the little icons that come along with it to give it kind of that outdoorsy, maybe hiking, camping kind of theme. And I put a little bit of kind of like a glue, like a glossy accents over those to give them a little bit of shimmer. One thing I do want to point out as we're getting started here, I used for this yellow panel back here, that is a pattern paper. So I decided this month, each month I kind of pick sort of a common theme, whether it's a specific layout or a specific technique. I just kind of started doing that, not really planning for it, but that's what happened. This month I decided to use as many of my 6x6 papers as I could. I don't know about you, but I have a huge supply of them that just doesn't get used. So I pulled out my 6x6 paper packs and started using those as much as I could. So I'll show you those as we get going here, but that's the first card. The next set that I pulled out is called Feel the Warmth. This was from 1999, and I think I bought this from somebody's garage sale, and I honestly never used it. If you just look at the sticker on here on the stamps, there's a lot of black, a lot of lines. It's like, oh gosh, I have to do a lot of coloring. So I just never really gravitated toward using it, although I really like the feel of it. I've always liked kind of the cabiny, outdoorsy feel or themes. And this is the card that I ended up making. So use that main image. I colored it in with some alcohol markers. I used the little greetings and a coordinating die for a label, and then a couple different of those pattern papers, the 6x6 pattern papers, and I think that turned out pretty cute. The next set that I pulled is called For Father, and it has a little thinking of you on Father's Day sentiment. So that's specifically why I pulled it. But I used this little toolbox and tools stamp and made a little birthday card. So just used the main image, colored it in, again used a couple pattern papers, some just really neutral kind of brushed gold gems on there, and some twine to make a birthday card. And I kind of distressed the edges to give it kind of that a little more rustic feel. And I pulled this motorcycle stamp. This was the only stamp in this set. And I made just a little hello card. So I used that motorcycle image, very simply colored it in. I used a little hello die that I have, and then some pattern paper. This one has mustaches on it. This one's just kind of a blue wash. And then on that same coordinating paper, there was a few different pieces that kind of matched. There were little like kind of ticket images. One says Ticket to Ride and one says Go. I think it was kind of a like a carnival theme, but I thought that those worked perfect with a motorcycle. And of course I did have to make one wedding card. I pulled To Have and to Hold, and this is still one of my favorite wedding stamp sets. I just really like the lines of this. I think it's just really pretty and kind of elegant, and I just kept it really simple. I used the main image of the bride and groom. I colored in the flowers and his little bow tie in some pink I used the To Have and To Hold, and again, I used a lot of dies this month just to really keep it easy and quick. One of my pattern 6x6 papers, a few little pearl gems. And then I used Thoughts of Father for a couple different cards this month. The first one, this one isn't necessarily, this could go for a man or a woman, I mean really for anybody, but I really liked the image here, the little watering can with the bird and the little wildflowers. I thought that was really pretty. And then this Grateful for You sentiment, because this was kind of a small image, I wanted a bigger sentiment, and I pulled that from Autumn Expressions. There's some really nice big sentiments in there, so I used that Grateful for You. Again, my pattern papers and a little bit of twine. And then I guess I should also point out this image here of this old truck that's parked in some wildflowers. That was the Father's Day card that I made. Stamped it on a die cut circle, colored it all in, and then this Thinking of You on Father's Day came from the Forefather stamp set. So I combined the two for this Father's Day card. Again, 3 different pattern papers for that. Just keeping it simple. And the next one that I pulled is called Countryside. And I thought these, you know, I was kind of going for a vehicle theme with the men, you know, thinking about June and the men in our lives. And I decided to use that main little old pickup, and I colored it like it has some rust on it. It has apples in the back. It says fresh apples on the back. And then a couple different pattern papers. Again, this is kind of a yellow wood grain, very bright and pretty. And then I have Bronc Buster, and you know, thinking about cowboys and things like that, and I used this for a couple different things this month. I used the main cowboy image here and just did a really easy card, but I wanted to do a little bit of a fun fold, so the middle part of it folds up. Again, using all this pattern paper, I put some pattern paper inside, and I also use this other little image in here just to stamp inside. And it says hooray, so it could be really for, you know, a birthday or congratulations or retirement, anything kind of like that. And then I also use this same set. I used this Genuine, the one and only, and I made a little treat holder, a little box. And this I found the pattern on the paper pixie, and you open up the front. I made it so that instead of using Velcro or a magnet, I made it so that the top just tucks under this front label. I popped it out so that it would have a little space for that flap to tuck in. But when you open it up, then you could fill it with all sorts of things. I mean, really, whatever you could, you know, you could roll up a pair of socks in there, or you know, candy, things like that. I found these little poopery before you go toilet spray. I don't know if anybody's ever used these, but usually they come in bigger bottles, but I found this little kind of like a travel size, you know, you can throw it in your purse or whatever, and I thought that was kind of cute, and it just happened to fit in there. So I just thought that was kind of a neat little sized box, but you really could fit a lot of different things in there. So thank you so much for joining me for the May 2026 Stamp Your Stash inspiration video. I hope that you're able to pick up a few different little ideas, tips, tricks, things like that for using your stash, using those stamp sets and papers and things that you already have. Like I always say, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So like I did this month, I grabbed paper and I just started using it as my backgrounds. I, you know, didn't think too much about it. I just kind of coordinated what I thought looked nice with some of these different images. Again, when we stamp our stash this year, we're picking themes so that it's easy to go to our stash and kind of narrow down what we're looking for. Instead of being overwhelmed by 100 different sets, we can kind of focus on just a couple different things, pull them out, get some use out of them, and then have some projects ready to go and send out to those special people in your lives. So anyway, if you are playing along with Stamp Your Stash, I'd love to see what you're working on. If you share it on social media, make sure to tag me at Leah Faye Handmade. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.